Every AI side hustle video on this platform is telling the truth. That is the strange part. The tools genuinely work. A person can open a browser and produce a finished blog post in 90 seconds. They can generate a logo, a voiceover, a product description, a full email sequence. None of the demonstrations are staged. The screen recordings are real. And that is exactly the problem. The tool works for the 2 million other people who watched the same video. It works for them at the same speed, on the same day, for the same price. And nothing that 2 million people can do stays valuable for very long. That is not pessimism. That is just how prices work. This video is about the mechanism underneath the disappointment. Not the scam angle, because most of these tools are not scams. The mechanism is quieter and much more brutal than a scam. And once someone understands it, they can test any opportunity they are ever pitched again. Start with a simple economic rule that almost nobody mentions in these videos. Price follows scarcity. It has always followed scarcity. When something is hard to get and people want it, the price climbs. When something becomes easy to get, the price falls toward the cost of making it. This is not a theory anyone needs a degree to accept. It is visible in every market that has ever existed. Now apply that rule to the last 3 years. Before these tools existed, writing a decent 1,000-word article took real time and real skill. Somebody had to learn to write. That barrier is what created the price. A freelance writer was not being paid for typing. They were being paid because most people could not do it well or quickly. Then the barrier disappeared in about 18 months. Today, the ability to produce a competent article is not scarce. It is closer to free. The market noticed almost immediately. Rates for general content work fell hard, and the people who were selling nothing but production capacity felt it first. Not because clients became greedy, because clients found out the work no longer required what it used to require. The same story is playing out in voiceover, in stock imagery, in basic graphic design, in simple code, in transcription, in translation. Anywhere the value was mostly production, the floor dropped out. So here is the rule in one sentence. Any income built purely on the ability to generate output disappears when generating output becomes free. Read that again, because it eliminates about 80% of the ideas being sold right now. Selling AI-written ebooks. Selling AI-generated art on print-on-demand sites. Running faceless channels made entirely of generated clips. Flipping AI newsletters. Selling AI logos on freelance marketplaces. Every one of those business models has the same structure. The seller is charging for output, and output is the one thing that stopped being scarce. It is worth being precise here. These ideas do not fail because they are impossible. A few people genuinely make money from every one of them. They fail because the number of sellers grows far faster than the number of buyers. The first 100 people to try something new can do well. The next 100,000 are competing on price. And competing on price against a machine that never sleeps is not a competition anyone wins. There is a second layer to this, and it is uncomfortable. Consider who reliably makes money during a gold rush. During the actual California gold rush, a small number of prospectors got rich. Most did not. But the people selling shovels, tents, boots, maps, and river crossings made money almost regardless of whether any gold was found. Their income did not depend on the gold existing. It depended only on people believing the gold existed. That structure repeats every single time, and it is repeating right now. The tool companies are profitable. The platforms hosting the videos are profitable. And the people selling courses about the side hustle are frequently far more profitable than anyone actually doing the side hustle. This is not a conspiracy. It is a simple observation about where the reliable revenue sits. A course seller has a defined customer, a repeatable product, and a marketing channel. Their business is stable. The person who buys the course is entering a crowded field with no customer and no channel. Those are not the same business. They are not even close. So when someone watches a video promising $5,000 a month, the useful question is not whether the method works. The useful question is why the method is being handed out for free to a very large audience. Real arbitrage tends to be quiet. Genuine edges get shared with a few people, not a few million, because sharing them destroys them. That is the trap. Not a lie, a crowd. Now for the part that actually helps. Instead of judging opportunities one at a time forever, there is a filter that works on all of them. 3 questions. Anyone can run them in about 2 minutes before spending a single weekend on an idea. Question 1. What is actually scarce here? Not what is useful, not what is impressive, what is genuinely hard to get. If the answer is the output itself, the idea is already in trouble. If somebody says the scarce thing is knowing how to use the tool, that is a very short-lived advantage. Tool knowledge has a shelf life measured in months, and every update makes the tool easier for beginners. Real scarcity usually looks different. It looks like access to a specific group of buyers. It looks like trust that took years to build. It looks like understanding an industry from the inside. It looks like being legally allowed to do something. Those things do not collapse when a new model gets released. Question 2. Who is the buyer, specifically? Not a category, a person. A dental clinic owner in a mid-sized city with 2 locations and no marketing staff. A commercial real estate broker who hates writing listing copy. A supplement brand with 11 products and no email program. That level of detail matters because it can be checked. If nobody can name a real buyer, they do not have a business. They have a hobby with an invoice attached. And the honest test is simple. Could that buyer be contacted this week? If not, the idea is not ready. Question 3. Why this person? This is the one that stings. If a task can be done equally well by anyone who watched the same tutorial, then the only remaining lever is price. And price competition ends at 0. So the answer to why this person has to be something the tool cannot supply. A former career, a network, a language, a location, a reputation. 10 years spent inside an industry that most freelancers find boring. Somebody who spent 8 years in insurance claims has something real. They understand the vocabulary, the regulations, the internal politics, and the specific ways that industry wastes money. A general-purpose model does not have that context, and a stranger cannot fake it on a sales call. 3 questions. What is scarce? Who is the buyer? Why this person? Most pitches fail at least 2 of them within 30 seconds. So what still holds value in a world where production is nearly free? 4 things, and they are all unglamorous. The first is distribution that someone actually owns. An email list, a client roster, a phone full of numbers that get answered, a niche community with real trust inside it. When output is free, attention becomes the bottleneck. Whoever can reliably reach buyers holds the leverage, and that has quietly become the most valuable asset in the entire economy. The second is a client relationship. A business that already pays somebody every month is not shopping around. They are buying reliability and the absence of hassle. That relationship cannot be generated by any tool, and it does not evaporate when a competitor learns a new prompt. The third is domain expertise the tool cannot supply. Knowing what good looks like inside a specific field. Knowing which corners cannot be cut. Knowing that a certain claim will get a client sued. Tools generate confident output. They do not know which output would be a disaster in a regulated industry. The fourth is accountability for the outcome. This one is underrated, and it might be the most durable of all. Businesses do not just buy work. They buy somebody to be responsible when the work is wrong. A machine cannot absorb risk. A person can promise a result, stand behind it, and fix it at 2 in the morning. That promise has always been worth money, and it still is. Notice what all 4 have in common. None of them are about making things faster. All of them are about being someone specific to someone specific. Which leads to the realistic version of this whole story. There is a way to use these tools that reliably produces income, and almost nobody makes videos about it because it is boring. The method is this. Use the tools to increase throughput inside work that already pays. A person who already does bookkeeping for 6 clients can use these tools to serve 9. A recruiter can screen more candidates in the same week. A contractor can produce estimates in 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. A teacher can build materials in a fraction of the time. A small agency can take on more accounts without hiring. In every one of those cases, the buyer already exists. The trust already exists. The price is already agreed. The tool is not creating the business. It is removing friction from a business that already works. That is why it succeeds while the side hustle fails. The scarce ingredient was never the output. It was the relationship, and that was already in place. The same logic works inside a regular job. Somebody who finishes their work faster and takes on more responsibility is building a case for a promotion or a raise. That is less exciting than passive income. It is also far more likely to happen. Now for the arithmetic, because this is where most people never do the math on themselves. Suppose someone commits to a side hustle for 3 months, 10 hours a week. That is roughly 120 hours. Those hours are real. They come out of evenings, weekends, sleep, and family time. Now suppose that same person could pick up overtime, or a shift, or freelance work in a field they already know at $25 an hour. 120 hours is $3,000, guaranteed. No audience required, no algorithm involved. So the side hustle is not competing against zero. It is competing against $3,000 of certain money. That is the real benchmark, and it changes the decision completely. This does not mean nobody should build anything. It means the build should be honest about what it is. If a project is genuinely an investment, then it needs to produce an asset that keeps paying. An audience, a list, a skill, a portfolio, a client base. Something that still exists after the hours are spent. If it produces none of those, then it is not an investment. It is underpaid labor with extra steps. So here is the whole thing compressed. The tools are real. That is precisely why the easy money is not. When production becomes free, value moves to distribution, relationships, expertise, and responsibility. The people selling the map are usually earning more than the people following it. And the honest opportunity is almost always less exciting than the pitch. Anyone can run the 3 questions before their next weekend disappears. What is scarce here? Who is the buyer? Why this person? If those 3 answers are not solid, the tool is not the problem. The tool works perfectly. It works for everyone. And that is the trap.